What kind of person sends a video of themselves cheating to end a 3-year relationship? I'm Jeff, a software developer who thought he had it all figured out with Michaela, my fiancée, until last week when my world imploded. We met at a charity hackathon, me leading back-end, her front-end for a rival team. Sparks flew in a server room at 4 a.m., fueled by Red Bull, and code-fueled arguments. Not exactly a fairy tale, but it was us. 3 years later, we're engaged, planning a wedding, and I'm neck-deep in project deadlines while she's off on a girls' trip to Italy and Greece. I spent 3 months' salary on a vintage emerald ring, my grandmother's, because Michaela despised cookie-cutter diamonds. I thought it was perfect. She seemed thrilled, or so I believed. I even splurged on a $1,000 emerald silk dress for our anniversary matching that ring before she jetted off for her last hurrah. Now I'm staring at my phone in our cozy one-bedroom, not a pathetic studio, like she'd later claim my blood running cold. It's Tuesday night, and instead of a goofy drunk video from her trip, I get a clip of her on some rented boat kissing an Italian-looking dude wearing my dress. The text that follows is a gut punch. Found someone who actually knows how to treat women. Unlike you, he has 3 companies and a yacht. Enjoy your pathetic studio apartment while I live like a queen. LOL. BTW, I already moved my stuff out. Left your ring on the kitchen table. It's worth more as scrap metal. 3 years gone in a 20-second video and a text. I sit frozen, my laptop humming code, forgotten the apartment's familiar creaks louder than ever. My chest tightens, but my mind's oddly clear. I don't call her. I don't text back. Something's off. Her phone secrecy lately, late nights at work events, snide comments about our place. I log into my airline account, see her return ticket on my card, and my finger hovers over cancel. This isn't just hurt. It's betrayal, planned and cruel. I think of that ring tossed like garbage, and the dress, now a prop in her new fantasy. I know she's in Mykonos. Her Instagram's a curated lie of sunsets and cocktails. I look up the boat in the video. It's no yacht, just a mid-size cruiser for tourists. This guy's no mogul, just a hustler. My coffee's cold now, the city buzzing outside, and I'm already planning. She thinks she's upgraded, but she's about to learn what happens when you burn a bridge with someone who holds the map. I dig deeper, my coder brain kicking in, methodical despite the rage. Her text said she moved out, but I check her closet. Half her clothes are still here, designer bags too. The ring's not on the kitchen table. I find it in the bathroom trash, scratched but intact, a family heirloom she didn't even respect enough to leave properly. I call a locksmith, schedule a lock change for tomorrow. My hands shake as I secure the ring in my safe deposit box, its emerald glinting like a warning. I check our joint account, small withdrawals, $200, $300 over months, thousands gone. She'd gaslit me when I questioned it, and I'd apologized like an idiot. I log into the airline portal again, confirm her flights on my card, and cancel it. No confirmation email to her. She'll find out at the airport. Then I call her hotel, prepaid through my card, and inform them the payment method's invalid, post-checkout tomorrow. The clerk, sympathetic, says they'll need a new card or she's out. I don't sleep replaying that video, her smirk, the dress clinging to her like a betrayal. By morning, I'm not just hurt, I'm furious, focused, ready to let her face the mess she made. The boat guy's Instagram pops up in my searches. Vittorio, some small-time restaurant owner who rents boats to scam tourists. Reviews call him a charmer who targets women like Michaela, promising luxury, then vanishing. She thought she was trading up, but she's just another mark. My phone pings her first text since the video, probably realizing the hotel's cut her off. I haven't opened it yet. Let her stew. This is just the start, and I'm already 2 steps ahead. My phone's buzzing like a hornet's nest. Michaela's texts piling up, but I'm not ready to deal with her yet. I'm sitting in our apartment now, feeling like a fortress. I'm defending my laptop, open to a dozen tabs about Vittorio, this wannabe yacht king. The video she sent loops in my head, her in that emerald dress, his smug grin, the boat's tacky logo. I've confirmed it's a rental, not his, and his 3 companies are a couple of hole-in-the-wall restaurants and a shady boat rental side hustle. Reviews online paint him as a predator, charming tourists with fake wealth, then ghosting with their stuff. Michaela's not special to him. She's just another score. I'm livid, but it's a sharp, cold anger now, like a blade I'm honing. I don't respond to her texts, let her panic in Mykonos, wondering why her hotel key stopped working. I canceled her return flight last night, no refund, just gone. The hotel's prepaid portion ended today, and without my card, she's got no room. I imagine her at the front desk flustered, maybe trying to flirt her way out of it, only to find out money talks louder than her charm. I'm not heartless, but after that video and her text calling our life pathetic, I'm done playing nice. I head to the bank, coffee in hand, the city's morning hum, a distant noise against my thoughts. Our joint account's a mess. She's been siphoning off cash for months, small amounts to avoid suspicion. I tally it up nearly $6,000. Back in April, I'd noticed $500 missing, and she swore I must have spent it on takeout or forgot. I apologized, feeling like a jerk. Now I see her game. I close the account, transfer the remaining balance to my personal one. Half's technically hers, but she can fight me for it later. The credit card in my name with her as an authorized user is maxed out lingerie, a $400 swimsuit stuff I never saw. I call and remove her access, my voice steady as the rep confirms it's done. Back home, I find her secret stash in a yoga mat of all places, a cheap burner phone, dead battery, no charger. I bet it's full of messages to Vittorio. I toss it in a drawer for now, my mind racing with what else she's hidden. Her Instagram's still public, all curated shots of sunsets and wine glasses tagged in Mykonos, but no Vittorio. She's careful, but not careful enough. The locksmith shows up, a gruff guy who doesn't ask questions as he swaps out the deadbolt. I deactivate her building key fob through the management portal. She's locked out literally and figuratively. I find printouts in her desk, Vittorio's Instagram handwritten notes about Mykonos bars and beaches. This wasn't a spontaneous fling. She planned it probably for months. My stomach churns, but I'm not breaking down. I'm building something, a plan, a wall, a way to make her feel the weight of what she did. Her texts are getting desperate now. The hotel's kicking me out, Jeff, please. I screenshot everything, back it up to a separate email. Evidence just in case. I sip a beer, the apartment quiet except for the hum of my PC. I check our shared Netflix binge-watched reality shows about trophy wives, not the documentaries she claimed. Every lie stacks up, and I'm not just angry, I'm awake. I call her friend Ashley, who was on the trip, playing dumb. She's cagey, but I sense she knows more. I don't push yet. Instead, I email Michaela's dad, Bob, a guy I've always liked. I don't send the video, not yet, but I say, I'm worried that she's in trouble in Greece. He responds fast, confused, asking for details. I promise to follow up, planting the seed. Michaela's about to learn that actions have consequences, and I'm not the only one she's burned. My phone pings again, another voicemail, her voice cracking. I don't listen. I'm too busy planning the next move, and trust me, it's going to hit harder than a canceled flight. 2 days pass and my phone's a war zone. 93 missed calls, voicemails piling up like wreckage, texts flooding in faster than I can archive them. Michaela's unraveling across the ocean, and I'm here in the apartment sipping another beer, scrolling through it all with a detached calm that surprises me. First, it's anger. Answer your phone. The hotel is threatening to call the police. I know you did this. Then panic sets in as Vittorio ghosts her, taking her designer bags, the one I got her for Christmas included, and vanishes like the fraud he is. I'm stranded, please help, she texts, followed by a sobbing voicemail where her words slur through tears, something about hotel security escorting her out. Her friends already flown home on different flights. She's sleeping in the lobby, she says, begging for money for a flight. I don't respond, but I read every word, the read receipts betraying me. It's pathetic almost how quickly her queen act crumbles. I look around our place. Her stuff half gone, the 4K TV we bought together glaring back, the gaming setup untouched. She thought she was upgrading to a mansion, but now she's in some roach-infested hostel after selling her watch for a bed. It's disgusting here. There are cockroaches. Please send money. I'll pay you back. I swear. Her messages swing from remorse. I'm sorry about what I said. It was stupid. Vittorio took all my stuff and blocked me. Please just help me get home, and we can talk, to accusations like I'm the villain for not bailing her out instantly. I'm not idle while she begs. Our shared laptops still logged into her accounts. She forgot to sign out in her rush to play princess. I dive into her DMs with Ashley going back 3 months, and it's a gold mine of betrayal. She's been complaining about me nonstop, pissed. I turned down a startup gig that meant 80-hour weeks and relocating, calling me a basic code monkey for prioritizing work-life balance. I didn't sign up to marry someone playing it safe. She messaged Ashley, the same woman who'd gushed over our engagement photos. Michaela griped about our apartment, our life, while telling me she loved it all. Hypocrite. I screenshot everything, my fingers flying, heart pounding, but mind sharp. This explains the snide remarks about my birthday gift AirPods she specifically asked for, but apparently embarrassingly cheap compared to her friend's boyfriend's extravagance. I feel like a fool, but it's fueling me now, not breaking me. I decide to help in my own way. I send her $500 via PayPal, enough for a couple nights in a budget spot and some meals, but nowhere near a flight. Note attached. This is all I can spare right now. Having some financial issues. She calls 12 times straight after, but I let it ring, watching the screen light up. Her follow-up text is a novel of apologies claiming Vittorio manipulated her. It was a terrible mistake, blah blah. I ignore it, turning instead to her parents. Bob picks up, his voice warm at first, then confused when I say I'm worried about Michaela being stranded after her boyfriend ditched her. What boyfriend? Wasn't it a girls' trip? I act surprised, describe Vittorio the yacht guy, offer to forward the video. Silence stretches, then he asks for it via email. 10 minutes later, he calls back, tone like steel, demanding her hostile details from her texts. We'll handle it, he says. I bet they're wiring flight money, which irks me a bit. I wanted her to stew longer, but exposing her to them feels sweeter. Her mom, Diane, always nitpicked my salary, comparing me to richer sons-in-law. Now she'll see her daughter's true colors. Meanwhile, I keep digging. That burner phone charges with an old cable. I find messages to Vittorio since February, flirty DMs starting from an influencer post where he lurked in the background. The girl's trip was timed around meeting him. She bragged to her friends about upgrading. Ashley spills when I call her back, admitting Michaela planned to take a break from me to explore with him, thinking he'd fly her back and forth. Guess that dream sank with his rented boat. I pack the rest of her stuff, clothes, photos, family knickknacks into boxes, haul them to my parents' garage. Change all shared passwords, return the wedding venue deposit, swallow the loss. Tell my family the truth so she can't twist it. Her flight's booked now, per Bob's text, landing at an airport 2 hours away with a brutal Frankfurt layover. Ouch. I'm ready for her return, ring doorbell set to record. This isn't over. Her texts keep coming, but I'm done being the nice guy she mocked. Her flight's inbound tomorrow, but I'm not losing sleep over it, not yet. Instead, I'm piecing together the puzzle she left behind, every discovery like a fresh cut, but I'm bandaging them with resolve. The burner phone unlocks with a generic pin she always used, and jackpot flirty texts to Vittorio, stretching back to February, emojis and promises of adventure. She'd connected via Instagram after spotting him in some influencer's background, turning a casual like into secret planning. This wasn't heat of the moment, it was calculated, her girl's trip rerouted to intersect with his yacht routine. I feel the bile rise, but I channel it, photographing every message before powering it down. Ashley's confession echoes in my head. She said Michaela bragged about exploring with him, putting us on break like I was a subscription. She could pause. My hands clench the phone. I nearly hurl it, but evidence is power now. I sift through more of her stuff, finding receipts tucked in a shoebox joint, card charges for that lingerie, the swimsuit, even spa treatments in Mykonos she never mentioned. Who plans a betrayal with pedicures? I call the card company again, confirm she's off as user, and request a fraud review on those charges. Though I know it's a long shot. The apartment smells faintly of her perfume. Still a ghost I can't air out yet. I log back into the laptop, her emails a timeline of dissatisfaction. Messages to another friend complain about my safe career choices, how I'm holding her back from the luxury she deserves. She mocked my AirPods gift as cheap, envied friends' Bali trips funded by high-roller boyfriends. Yet face-to-face she'd beam about our future, our balance. The duplicity stings like salt in a wound, but it clarifies everything, her eye rolls at house hunting talks, her push for flashier vacations. I was her starter pack, not the end game. Bob texts mid-afternoon flight details, landing at that distant airport, parents picking her up. I respond neutrally, but inside I'm prepping for fallout. I forward him the DM screenshots, the burner texts keeping the video in reserve. He calls minutes later, voice heavy with disappointment. This isn't the girl we raised, he says, but I sense he's not shocked. I mention the financial drains, $6,000 siphoned, and he sighs, promising to discuss it. Diane's in the background, her sharp tone cutting in, but Bob handles it. They're wiring her minimal funds for the hostel tonight, nothing more. I hang up, feeling allied a strange comfort in sharing the burden. My own parents check in, mom offering to store more boxes if needed. I tell them about the discoveries, and dad's quiet fury matches mine. You dodged a bullet, son. The sun dips low, casting long shadows through the windows, mirroring my stretched nerves. Evening brings a call from Ashley again, her voice tentative. She's back home unpacking her own trip baggage, but Michaela's been texting her too, probing if I've softened. Ashley cracks under my silence, spilling more. Michaela's been venting for months about my basic life, how she craved more excitement, more status. The yacht promise was her escape hatch, Vittorio painted as a savior. But now with him vanished and bags gone, she's scrambling. Ashley admits the group knew vaguely, some even encouraged it as harmless fun. I thank her coolly, ask if she's still tight with Michaela. Quiet pause. Then I don't know anymore. It's a small victory, cracks in her circle. I hang up, pour a glass of water, beer's lost its appeal, and stare at the packed boxes. Wedding plans dissolve in my mind. I email the planner, cancel everything, absorb the deposit, hit like a badge. Night falls, and her texts trickle, in less frantic, now more manipulative promises to explain claims. It was a blip. I block the number, temporarily needing space. But curiosity wins. I unblock to monitor. Bob texts again. They've got her on a no-frills flight economy with layovers, a far cry from the business class she'd demand. I smile faintly, the first real one in days. The Ring app pings occasionally with building alerts, but it's quiet. I lie in bed, the sheets cool, without her replaying our hackathon meet cute. How did that fire turn to this? Ash sleep comes, fitful dreams of boats and emeralds sinking. Morning coffee brews strong, and I brace for her arrival. She'll show up eventually, meltdown imminent. I've got backups of everything: texts, DMs, financial trails. This isn't just revenge. It's reclamation, stripping away her illusions one layer at a time. Her plane touches down at 8:40 p.m., 2 hours away, and I'm at my buddy Dave's, controller in hand, battling bosses in Elden Ring to keep my mind off the clock. The game's dark world mirrors my mood, treacherous, full of surprises, but at least here, I can respawn. Bob texts around 10:30. They've got her heading to their house. I exhale, thinking that buys me a night, but at 1 a.m. the Ring doorbell chimes. I check the app. Michaela outside the building, looking wrecked, messy hair, sweatpants, a crumpled airport hoodie. She's jabbing the buzzer repeatedly, her key fob useless since I deactivated it. Texts flood in. I know you're in there. Let me in. We need to talk. Then Jeffrey, this isn't funny. I'm exhausted. Please just let me in. My parents are being insane right now. I need my stuff. I live there too. You can't just lock me out. I watch through the camera, her frustration building as she paces, then slumps on the steps crying. For a split second, pity flickers, jet-lagged, broke alone. But the video replays in my head, her lips on his, my dress on her body, and it vanishes. She's not the victim here. Around 1:30, headlights sweep the street. Bob's car pulls up. He storms out, face thunderous, hauls her up with sharp words I can't hear, and bundles her into the passenger seat. He glances at the Ring camera, nods once like an acknowledgement of our unspoken pact, and drives off. I text him thanks, get a curt reply. She stole Diane's keys. Tracked her phone. Morning comes, and Bob wants coffee. We meet at a cafe near my office, him looking haggard, bags under his eyes. He apologizes for her stunt, explains the car theft, the tracking. We're disappointed beyond words, he says, sipping black coffee. He asks about her stuff. I tell him it's boxed at my parents', ready whenever. Relief softens his features, and he thanks me for not trashing it, though. Yeah, the thought crossed my mind. As we wrap up, my phone erupts with Michaela's texts, demanding a meeting, explanations like, I owe her. Bob sees, shakes his head. I'll handle it. Back at work, focus as a joke code blurs as I replay the night. Around 3 p.m., the building manager calls trouble in the lobby. I head down, heart thudding, to find Michaela yelling at the desk attendant, flanked by 2 work friends who always rubbed me wrong with their side eyes. She spots me, freezes, then unleashes how I've no right to lock her out. I'm childish, overreacting to one mistake. The lobby's a stage residence, staring, her voice echoing off marble. One friend films it, phone angled like viral bait. I stand calm, letting her vent until she's winded. Then evenly, your things are at my parents'. Coordinate with them. We're over. Nothing to discuss. Leave before security steps in. She jabs my chest, face inches away. You'll regret this. Huge mistake. Vittorio wasn't even serious. I laugh, genuine, sharp, ask if he's returned her bags or moved on to the next tourist. Her color drains, then flares. She swings to slap me, but I catch her wrist. Her friend gasps like it's scripted drama. Security intervenes, ushering them out. As they go, I call, "Enjoyed the dress with your new guy." She flips me off without looking back. The lobby clears, whispers fading, and I head upstairs, adrenaline buzzing. But she's not done. Mutual friends ping me with her spin. I stranded her dangerously in Europe, stole her money. I forward screenshots the video, her text and queries stop. That night, Diane calls screeching about revenge porn for sharing what Michaela sent. I explain coolly it's her daughter's doing, sent to hurt me. Maybe ask why she thought that was smart. Diane hangs up mid-rant. Morning brings an email from Michaela CCing a lawyer pal threatening suit if I don't let her retrieve property. I forward to my lawyer buddy. He chuckles, says it's baseless. Bob texts apologies for Diane, requests an inventory of her stuff. I send it detailed clothes, photos, the works. He replies, "Thank you, sorry again." Evening gym session clears my head, but home holds a surprise. Scratches on the door lock fresh. Manager checks hallway cams Michaela earlier trying her old key. He promises to warn her off. Rifling through closets, I find a box in her winter boots, the ring, plus a printed email offering $3,000 from a buyer dated 2 weeks pre-trip. She planned to sell my heirloom before leaving. I snap photos, email Bob and Diane. Bob calls furious, confirms the date. That's all I need. An hour later, Michaela's voicemails pour in. Tearful parents cut her off, kicking her out by week's end. Begs me to say it's a mix-up. I block her. Ashley texts Michaela crashed at her door at 6 a.m. Couch surfing denied. Now with a work friend. Venue calls Michaela tried canceling our booking for her refund. I explain. They refund me what's left. Bob's picking up her stuff tomorrow. I'm drained, but there's a grim satisfaction she's tasting real fallout, and it's just beginning. The dust from the lobby showdown hasn't settled, and already Michaela's spinning her web wider, texting mutual friends with wild tales of how I abandoned her in Europe, left her vulnerable and penniless. I get the first ping from our buddy Tom while I'm back upstairs, heart still racing from catching her slap attempt. His message asks if it's true. I cut her off mid-trip out of jealousy. I forward the originals, her cheating video, the mocking text about my pathetic life. Tom's reply is swift, "Dude, that's messed up. On your side." Similar queries trickle in from others, and each time the evidence does the talking. Her narrative crumbles fast. By evening, the concerned calls dry up, replaced by radio silence from her enablers. I pour a glass of water, lean against the counter, staring at the spot where the ring sat in the trash. It's almost funny how predictable she is, desperate to paint me as the monster when her own words indict her. Morning brings more escalation, an email from that lawyer friend of hers, formal and threatening, demanding access to the apartment or face eviction claims and abandonment charges. I scan it, pulse steady, and shoot it to my lawyer pal. He calls laughing, "This is amateur hour. No case, she sent you the proof herself. Want me to draft a response?" I decline for now, but keep it filed. Bob texts mid-morning, apologizing again for Diane's outburst last night, confirming pickup time for her boxes. I meet him at my parents' garage, the air thick with awkwardness as we load his trunk, clothes, knickknacks, childhood photos she'd stashed here. He pauses with a family album size. "She tried selling the ring before the trip. That's low, even for her." I nod. Hand over the printed email as extra ammo. Bob's jaw sets. He mutters about discussing it with Diane, thanks me profusely, and drives off. Back home, the apartment feels lighter without her clutter, but echoes louder. Afternoon hits with a spot of weirdness. I grab lunch downtown and spot Michaela across the street entering a coffee shop. I duck into a store, peering through the window like some spy thriller. She's meeting an older woman in a sharp pantsuit, portfolio in hand, their talk intense. Michaela gestures wildly, hands waving, face flushing, as the woman shakes her head, closes her folder, and leaves abruptly. Michaela slumps defeated. I piece it together the next day via email from a different lawyer. They'd reviewed her story, saw the video and texts, declined representation, and tipped me off she might shop around. My buddy confirms, multiple rejections mean she's got nothing. Cease and desist if she pushes. I hold off watching her flail. Weekend arrives and my parents host me for deck repairs manual labor to sweat out the stress. Mom's phone rings mid-hammer. It's Diane wanting a woman-to-woman chat. Mom puts her on speaker in the backyard, Diane launching into a guilt trip about me ruining Michaela's reputation by sharing that video. Mom listens patiently, then asks if Diane's actually watched it. Long pause, Bob described it, but she refused. Mom suggests viewing it before defending. Diane hangs up abruptly. An hour later, Bob calls Dad. Diane finally saw it is processing. Thanks us for reasonableness. I feel for Bob caught in the crossfire of his wife's denial and daughter's mess. Meanwhile, Michaela's Instagram lights up with vague posts, quotes about betrayal and healing captions implying I'm the villain in a harmless flirtation. Friends see through it. Group chats buzz with her shifting stories. First I'm controlling, then I cheated, then I tricked her into the video. It all implodes at Tom's birthday party. I hesitate going knowing she might show, but Tom insists. I arrive to her holding court with a clueless few, but when she sees me, she bolts. Only Jen, Tom's girlfriend, blocks her. Jen grills her Vittorio's name Job. How they met. Michaela stammers inconsistencies glaring. Someone suggests viewing the video to judge. She freaks, accuses me of sharing intimate stuff without consent. I counter calmly, she sent it to end us, nothing private there. Offered to delete it if she admits the truth. She storms out calling me names. Party aftermath is a flood. Friends reach out with their own Michaela anecdotes, flirting with partners, backhanded digs, little lies. It's like a dam burst, permission granted to voice doubts. Days later, an unknown number calls her new boss, verifying her family emergency stranding in Europe. She's been calling in sick for over a week, but a mutual contact spilled the real story. I confirm she's been back nearly 2 weeks, no more. She's fired next day, shows up at my building in hysterics, ranting in the lobby about me lying to her work. Security footage captures me arms crossed, her shoving the guard when he blocks her elevator dash. They ban her from the premises. Ashley texts Michaela's out of the work friend's place for too much drama, motel bound now, parents ignoring calls. Sympathy tugs briefly but evaporates, dress ring video. She's reaping what she sowed and it's mounting higher. The fallout from the party lingers like a bad hangover. Friends still buzzing with their unearthed stories about Michaela. But I'm ready to put some distance on it all. Yesterday's chaos with her job loss and the lobby ban feels like a peak, yet I know she's not one to fade quietly. Bob calls early, voice gravelly, asking to meet at a diner midway between our places, neutral ground, I guess. I agree, grabbing my keys with a mix of dread and curiosity. The drive's quiet city fading to suburbs, my mind replaying her motel desperation from Ashley's text. At the diner, Bob's already there, booth in the corner, looking like he aged a decade since our last chat. He slides a small box across the Formica table, first thing, no hello, just action. I open it, my grandmother's emerald ring polished and pristine. Convinced her to hand it over after that email printout, he says jaw tight, the word convinced, loaded with unspoken tension. I pocket it, the weight familiar and reassuring, a piece of family history reclaimed from her wreckage. We order coffee black for him, cream for me, and he dives in, no preamble. Turns out this isn't Michaela's first rodeo with betrayal. Back in college, she got engaged to a guy from old money, some trust fund kid with a bright future. Then right before graduation, she cheated with his roommate, blew up the whole thing in a messy spectacle. Bob and Diane cleaned up the aftermath, paying off shared debts, smoothing over family ties. We thought she'd outgrown it, Bob admits, stirring his coffee absent-mindedly, spoon clinking against the mug. Hoped maturity would kick in, especially after meeting you, a steady guy, good head on your shoulders. He pauses, eyes distant, like he's reliving old headaches. Diane pushed the narrative hard. Growing up, he says Michaela was special, destined for grandeur. Early years were tight financially, but when Bob's business boomed in her teens, Diane overcompensated, designer everything, lavish trips, constant affirmations of deserving the best. It bred entitlement. He figures a hunger for more that never satisfied. I nod pieces, clicking her jabs at my career envy of friends' luxuries, the yacht fantasy. It wasn't just me, it was wired in. Bob apologizes, then straight up no excuses. We should have warned you when things got serious. Seen the signs repeating. I wave it off, it's not their fault though. Yeah, a heads up might have saved 3 years. But hindsight's cheap, and honestly, I'm glad I found out pre-vows. He mentions they're being tough now. Let her in at 3 a.m. last night when she showed up sobbing, no other options but with rules. Move back to Ohio, live under their roof, get a local job, no more handouts for her city lifestyle or whims. She's agreed, miserable about it, but cornered. Diane's still defensive, he adds, but watching the video cracked her denial. She's processing whatever that means. We finish our coffees, the diner hum of clattering plates and murmured chats a backdrop to our heavy talk. Bob pays, insists, and we part with a firm handshake. Driving back, the ring in my pocket feels like closure on one front, but the revelations swirl patterns I missed, echoes of past victims. It's not pity for her exactly, but understanding the roots makes her less a monster, more a product of unchecked wants. Home. I stash the ring safely, its emerald catching light like a promise kept. The apartment's peaceful now, her absence a void turned relief. But drama creeps back. My mom calls, recounting Diane's attempt at another guilt trip, this time via email to her. Diane rambled about me destroying Michaela's future, spreading lies. Mom shut it down, suggesting Diane focus on her daughter's choices. Bob followed up with Dad apologetic again, saying Diane's coming around slowly. I almost laugh, family entanglements like a bad soap. Evening, I spot a new email from Michaela, fresh address since I blocked the last, alternating rage and pleas, claiming misunderstanding, begging intervention with her parents. I archive it unread but screenshot for records. Ashley texts an update. Michaela's packing for Ohio, griping to anyone who'll listen, but her circle's shrinking work friend booted her after the firing drama, motel nights eating her savings. Night falls and I cook a simple meal, pasta. No frills, savoring the solitude. Friends invite me out, but I decline, opting for a book instead, pages turning under lamplight. The revelations from Bob humanize the mess but don't soften my stance. She's facing real walls now, ones she built. Bob texts late pickup details for her final boxes tomorrow, but I sense that's it for us. No more meetings, just fading ties. Sleep comes easier. Dreams less turbulent, the rings return an anchor in the storm. It's been 2 weeks since that diner meet with Bob, and the storm's finally easing, though echoes linger like distant thunder. Michaela's packing for Ohio, her life shrinking to suitcases and parental oversight, a far cry from the queenly fantasies she chased in Mykonos. Bob filled me in last call. She showed up at their door at 3 a.m., tears streaming, claiming nowhere else to turn after the motel kicked her for unpaid nights. They let her in, but the conditions hit hard. Back to their hometown, under their roof, job hunting. Locally, no more wire transfers or bailouts. She's miserable, he said, griping about the downgrade, but agreed out of sheer exhaustion. Diane softened a tad, watching the video finally cracked her fully, but she's enforcing the rules with an iron hand born of disappointment. Bob sounded weary, like a man who's seen this cycle before, but resolute. It's for her own good, he muttered, and I believed him. The ring's back where it belongs, in my family safe, its emerald a reminder of dodged disaster rather than lost love. Michaela's attempts at contact haven't stopped. She's burned through emails, new addresses popping up like weeds one day. Furious rants about how I've ruined her. The next, tearful apologies, promising change if I just talk to her parents. I archive them all, no replies, the silence my final word. Her Instagram's gone private. Now vague stories of new beginnings filtering through mutuals who still peek. Friends report she's tried spinning more tales, how I manipulated everything, exaggerated a flirt, but the videos out there shared selectively and her credibility's shot. At Tom's party aftermath, more stories surfaced, her hitting on boyfriends at group hangs. Little white lies snowballing into habits. It's like uncovering a web I was tangled in blindly. Ashley texted last week. Michaela asked for a loan, got denied, their friendship fraying. Work circles buzzed with her, firing the emergency lie, exposed doors closing fast. I've been reclaiming my space, the apartment transformed, new throw pillows. Her perfume aired out the gaming setup, mine alone. Hung out with Dave, more late-night sessions, turning therapeutic laughs, easing the hollow spots. My parents hover sweetly, mom pushing blind dates with her friend's daughter, which I dodge with grins. Too soon, I say, but it's nice knowing they care. Works picked up that startup offer I turned down. Revisited it mentally, but nah, balance suits me. The revenge high faded quick, leaving a quiet satisfaction, consequences hit, but I'm not reveling. Felt empty post-diner, replaying red flags, her casual digs at my savings habits, eye rolls over practical gifts. Plenty missed, but lessons learned. Bob's final text came yesterday, truck-loaded heading to Ohio today. Michaela's quiet, he said, staring out windows like processing her fall. I almost pity her roots, Diane's overcompensation breeding that endless want, but choices were hers. No mansion, no yacht, just reality biting back. I've blocked the last email notifications off, ready to close this book. As the days stretch longer into this quiet aftermath, I find myself lingering over morning coffee, watching the city stir below my window with a softer gaze. The sharp edges of anger have dulled, replaced by a gentle acceptance that weaves through my thoughts like a fading melody. Michaela's chapter closes not with a slam, but a sigh. Her relocation to Ohio, a distant echo. Her pleas now whispers lost in the digital void. I've grown through the wreckage, reconnecting with friends whose laughter fills the empty spaces and family whose support feels like a warm embrace against the chill of betrayal. The apartment, once a battleground, now hums with peaceful potential, sunlight dancing on surfaces cleared of her shadows. I walk lighter, lessons etched softly, trust built, slowly, red flags heated gently, self-worth blooming in solitude. Life unfolds anew, not in grand gestures but in quiet moments. A beer with buddies, code flowing freely, the emerald ring a talisman of resilience. And as evening falls, I breathe deep, the saga dissolving into memory, leaving only gratitude for the escape. In this calm, I whisper to myself, forward, always forward, into whatever light awaits.